Hello again. So I'm back with another review, and this is for another psychological thriller. I'll just get a little picture of it here. It is called I Let You Go by Clare Macintosh. I think this has been out for quite a while actually, but I read it recently. I absolutely loved it. It's actually a Richard and Judy bestseller. And like I was saying in the previous video, what I've noticed about these psychological thrillers is that there's always a great hook at the start to keep you, to reel you in and get you interested in reading. And the hook in this is that we start off straight away. There's been an accident and a child has been hit and run over by a car, and the child is dead, and it's a hit and run and the driver has driven off. So the police are trying to find out who the driver is of this car. Then we switch to the mother of the child, and what really struck me about this book is the mother's voice. And you often hear about, the writing voice, and this writing voice was just stunning. The mother's voice was just felt very kind of intimate and chilling, and there was something creepy about it. I don't know, maybe that was just my interpretation, but this mother has decided she's going to clear off. She needs to get away. She needs to get out of that town, go somewhere different, and try and get away from this trauma that's just happened. And she takes off to this other town, and she sort of leads this reclusive lifestyle. So that voice is really creepy and chilling, and that pulled me in as well. The writing style of it was really lovely. Then we jump back to the police that are dealing with the crime. And what I found really interesting about this is that the author, Clare Macintosh, used to work as a police officer. So you often will hear people saying, write about what you know. And there's another author that I love called Fiona Barton, and she wrote The Widow, and it's about a journalist, and it's from the perspective of a journalist. And Fiona Barton used to work as a journalist. So, and you can tell, from the writing that she knows that world inside out, and the same is here with Clare Macintosh. She knows the whole world of the police and all the sort of police speak and all she just kind of describes everything really, really well. And that has made me think about my own writing and, writing about settings that I'm familiar with. And, for me, I have worked in, a lot of my work has been in the sort of the acting world, in theatre. And I worked for a West End dance company, and that's the kind of world that I'm familiar with. But I'm also, you often hear people saying, well, you can't only write about what you know, because that would make your writing very limited. So you kind of have to push your imagination as well and write about other things and research them well. So I was kind of interested about all that, but I really enjoyed hearing all these kind of police scenes, because she obviously knows this world inside out. And the thing that was nice about it was that she writes about the police officer Ray and the kind of junior officer Kate, and it's obvious that there's a bit of chemistry between the two of them, sort of a bit of flirtation. So I quite liked seeing that kind of romance side of things as well in amongst this kind of psychological thriller. But Ray is married, and he has a wife and kids. And so I enjoyed this kind of whole subplot about his private life, and how his wife used to be a police officer, and then she had to leave work to have kids, and how she sort of misses being at work. And that was interesting to look at that whole issue of work versus children and all of that. So that kind of is all going on as well as this main plot of the hit and run incident. And then we go back to the mother's voice. She's called Jenna, and she's kind of you know, trying to have this new life. Although she's very reclusive and kind of keeps out of everyone's way, but she does meet the vet of the village, and there's a bit of a possible romance starting there. So again, there's a nice kind of romantic side to the story. And then we kind of flit back and forward between past and present, and it's done really well. And Jenna tells us a bit about her past, and that all becomes very important to the main plot. We see a lot about the theme of domestic violence, and some of those scenes are very hard to read, but you know, it's a really interesting and important theme to look at. So I enjoyed all of that as well, or enjoy, you know, as much as you can say you enjoy reading scenes like that. There was also a really great court scene towards the end, and there was a lot of tension in that because it was kind of very much like everything was all very last minute. They were getting evidence in where they literally had 10 minutes to go and things, so there was a lot of twists and turns in that as well. Quite a lot of twists and turns in this, actually. You know, you're reading it, you're thinking that one thing's going to happen and then something else will happen, and it just turns the story in a whole other direction. So you're constantly, you know, keeping those pages turning. So another great psychological thriller. Highly recommend that one. And that is all from me. I'm going to wrap it up quickly, and thanks very much for watching. And that's it. Over and out.